Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Front Mission 5, Scars of the War. So we're taking a look here at another set of wanzers for the Wanzer Roundup. Maybe our second last edition of the series. We'll see. But the first wanzer we're going to look at is the one you can see here. It is the Giza. And the Giza is manufactured by Leonora Enterprises, the Australian Wanzer manufacturer, and it is one of their best known models. It doesn't have any standout characteristics, but it is renowned for its lack of any notable shortcomings, and also for its stability. And this has led to its widespread deployment as a general purpose Wanzer. It's actually descended from the Italian manufacturer Basalt's model of the same name, and was first produced and distributed in a business partnership during the Second Huffman conflict. So Basalt and Leonora were working together to produce and distribute the Giza. But sometime after 2097, Leonora acquired the production and sales rights to the model and added wide-scale improvements to the base model, the base Giza, forming the basis for its long production history. The first Giza model to see these wide-scale improvements was the Giza 4C, which first appeared in Front Mission 2 but does not appear in Front Mission 5. It's not a variant that you can use. The Giza's versatility and stability have seen it deployed in assault and mechanic configurations by a variety of armed forces, including that of the USN. So it's so popular that even the USN, kind of mortal enemies of the OCU, have seen it deployed, or have deployed it. And actually, I'm not sure entirely what that is referring to in terms of the game series and where it shows up on the USN side, because as far as I can recall, it only shows up on the OCU or the terrorist side, the Grimnir side in Front Mission 5. So yeah, that is the Giza. Now we will go ahead and talk about this one here, the Vyzov. Now, I'm sure I am mispronouncing that. Apologies, I don't know anything about Russian at all, really. But yeah, this is a model produced by the Zaftran manufacturer Dmitry, and it inherited the basic design of the Oberona, but featured all-around improvement, making it well-suited for its vanguard role. The lightweight variants of the Vyzov are designated by the ROG moniker. So, it's such and such model ROG. With its distinctive rectangular exterior, distributed engine, and cutting-edge actuators, the Vyzov's design rivals the Frost. Well, actually, it's clearly better than the Frost. It's clearly better than any of the Frost variants, as far as I can tell. It's just really, really outstanding at pretty much everything. This is a very, very solid Wanzer model. So it also features superior durability and carrying capacity, and they're not kidding about the carrying capacity. It's really outstanding. While the particulars of its design are not publicly known, the Vyzov is also understood to include next-generation ECM technology, so electronic countermeasure technology. And during the Second Huffman conflict, some Vyzov models were supplied to the USN military through the offices of Sakata Industries. Now, this is to explain why they show up on the USN side in Front Mission 1, but actually when you think back to the fact that we get this model from Enos, that, spoiled brat commander that gets put in his place by the, the trio the Fort Monus trio, he gave us this model, right? So I was kind of thinking when he first gave it to us, like, why did he give us this? How did he get a hold of it? It's a Zaftran model. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and actually, you might recall that he is the son of a prominent Rupidus politician. And actually, Rupidus was one of the major bases for the USN during the Second Huffman conflict. And so it may be the case that his father somehow had access to a stockpile left over from the Second Huffman conflict and passed it along to him, and then he passed it along to us. And that's really the only way I can imagine that this ended up in our hands. I think, like, it's kind of interesting reading the description for this model, because it reminds me a little bit of the item descriptions in, like, Dark Souls, where you can kind of piece together the story based on the description. Even if this description isn't actually in this game, I had to go look at the World Historica stuff to find it. So yeah, anyway, that's just a little bit of interesting trivia about the Vyzov. And also, the word Vyzov apparently means summoner in Russian, according to the Tenmo website. And so that's another interesting point, because those of you who are BattleTech fans might recall that actually there is a mech in BattleTech in the BattleTech universe also called the Summoner. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at the Direwolf. Sorry for the small picture. I actually I wanted to get a screen grab like I normally do of our previous mission, but actually having those unit titles up on the screen kind of ruined the shot, so I'm afraid I had to go grab one off the internet. Anyway, you remember what the Direwolf looks like. There isn't very much information out there on this Wanzer. So it is a part of Iguchi's T-series of S-device Wanzers, and it is capable of human-like motions thanks to its control systems derived from medical technology, which allow for feedback between the pilot and the machine. This indicates that it is in fact derived from Fortune Medical's ASA 9X prototype. So like I said in the previous video, this is basically like one variant or one form of tech derived from the ASA 9X that we captured. Well, at least we captured data and stuff on it back at Fortune Medical. And then, of course, the prototype that we were talking about at Fort Monus that Ed went to go pick up for Lynn is another separately developed model that is also based on the ASA 9X prototype. So these are like divergent evolutionary branches. So the Direwolf was first spotted in Bargas, Cambodia mission, which we just did, and its name may be that assigned by the USN rather than Iguchi's internal model name. So that's based on Hector's dialogue in the mission briefing. He says that, you know, this is a name that the USN has given it because they don't really know what its real model name is. And, you know, you see that a lot with opposing militaries giving enemy units certain names that vary or differ from the ones of those, or the ones given by the people who actually produce the units. You see that with like fighter jets and so on. So finally, it's worth noting that Iguchi acquired Cicada Industries after the Second Huffman conflict, and the claw on the Direwolf is likely derived from the Cicada-developed Raven's weapon. So the Raven's very famous for its claw, does tons of damage, and it seems likely to me, this is my speculation, that the Direwolf claw is probably a derivative of the Raven claw because of Iguchi's Sakata connection. Again, that's my speculation, though. Yeah, and the full model name of this thing is the TXA Direwolf. So there's not any more information on it than that. It's actually quite limited what is available. And furthermore, there isn't a whole lot of information available on the rest of the T-Series either, so I probably will cover them, but we won't have very much to say at them. We can kind of just about them, we'll just kind of take a look at the model and say, hey, that looks neat. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I still have a whole lot of stuff I need to do to get ready for the next set of missions. I checked it out, and we do actually have a mission coming up before we hit the first Alaska base section. So I have to get ready for that. That mission basically requires you to use quadruped legs. So I need to go buy a bunch of those, and I also need to clear the mission with my hack save. So even though I have most of my main saves parts upgraded, I still need to grind out some more money for those hacked legs, or sorry, the legs, and then grind out a bunch of money for the rest of the stuff I need for my hack save. So yeah, it will be a little while until the next video, but I hope you found this one interesting, and I will see you next time.